I want to welcome everybody today to another small town video by the Lone Road Ranger, and it has a very interesting history. And as you can see, the population began around 1880, although the town was established around 1869. And the town grew fairly rapidly. It was the first town in the Montgomery County, Kansas area. There was a lot of Osage Indians in the area back then, and they had their own area that they claimed, which was basically across the Montgomery River from where Elk City is right now. This is a painting that kind of shows how the Indians lived back in that time. We're headed toward Elk City. We're about a quarter of a mile from downtown right now. But I'm going to slow down and show a little bit about the area as we go. This is a landmark that was on the outskirts of town in about 1910. Look at this really nice garden here. It's a flower garden, and used to see these around a lot a long time ago, but they're few and far between now. At one time there was an oil boom that was short-lived from about 1900 to 1910, and much like all the small towns around, it faded away fairly early. This shows the early town that was constructed in the late 1800s. Snow in Elk City, Kansas. We don't get a lot of snow this way, but 3 to 6 inches a year. Here's the old post office. I shouldn't say old, it's relatively new compared to a lot of the other buildings, but every town has one of these practically. This is the old Oak Hotel in Elk City, and it was built around 1889. You can see by the old slabs that there had been a lot of buildings around, and you'll see that as we go through town here. That's not uncommon in the old cities. Old gas station used to be right there on that corner, I believe. This is a Carson Masonic Lodge in Elk City. They have quite a following. Once a month they have a dinner, or I should say a lunch, on Sundays, every fourth Sunday of the month. It attracts a lot of bikers. I'm a biker myself, and I try to make it over at least once a year. The old Santa Fe is no longer there, but it looked like it was a pretty nice depot. Here's another picture of it, but it is definitely long gone. Even the railroad tracks are no longer there. Here's the Antlers Cafe, and I enjoyed my time in there. We're in Elk City at the Antlers Cafe, and they have a very nice little place here. I'm very impressed with how clean it is and the variety of the stuff they have. She gave me a menu, and it's about like a book. But I know the food's got to be good. I just wish I hadn't already eaten when I came in here. Very nice. And this is Shelley. I can't remember names with a darn.
I can't either. It's okay. I'm mad.
But very nice. Everything in here is just super. That's the only word I can describe here. And it's even got a jukebox. I want you to look at the ceiling here.
That is not plastic.
That's original.
That is original metal. Got a couple rust spots over there. That is the original ceiling.
All the crown molding and everything is all original metal put in here. In what year?
I'm gonna say late 1800s.
Late 1800s.
Probably Google it. This was originally the newspaper.
Very good. Well,
there's an antique pie case over there.
you keep pies in it anymore?
Health department won't go over that.
Well, I can understand that.
They gotta be in the fridge.
Well, okay, that's it. This is the Antlers Cafe in Elk City, Kansas. If you're ever in Elk City, be sure to stop by and partake in their good food. And tell them the Lone Road Ranger sent you. It always amazes me that these small towns have such wide main streets. And obviously, it's for the old teams of wagons who came into town, brought in feed, and picked up groceries. And they could go from one side of the street to the other just simply by making a wide U-turn. Plus, it didn't cause any obstructions for the other teams coming through town, maybe going to the depot to deliver some grain or hay or whatever. But this intersection right here, everything happens at an intersection. It probably had people gathering there and talking to the farmers who were coming into town, or just to gather on a Saturday night. Because not only was the north side of town busy, but this was all filled with stores and buildings also, and some of them are still here. You just don't know what was happening back then, but it was all important to the people who lived there then. I remember my dad and my grandpa used to tell stories about my hometown in the early days of the turn of the last century, where on Saturday night there were so many people in town to do their trading that you could hardly stir them with a stick. People got their haircuts on Saturday night. They shopped for groceries. My grandmother said that she would go shopping at the local grocery store, and they had a freezer there, so she could buy her groceries in the afternoon and not have to pick them up till midnight or whenever they decided to go home. Things were different back then, for sure. Churches were plentiful, and Elk City had quite a few back then. This town is incredibly neat. The lawns are all mowed, and everything's trimmed up real nice and tidy. And that's what I'm finding about a lot of these small towns. They still have a lot of pride, and the people who live here are the ones responsible for that. It makes me feel good. Look at these old pictures of bands back then. We don't have any bands in our town anymore, other than the ones that play at the nightclubs and so forth. Not all the streets are paved, just the main ones. There's the old high school picture from 1908, and that school was brand new back then. It's amazing they could build them like that back then, but they did. Here's an aerial view of the new high school there, along with the new elementary school in 1960. They call that new high school the new school for many, many years, although it was built in 1960 and it burned down. Let's see, I can't remember for sure when, but around 1972, I believe. There's the new Elk City High School. We're going to be turning into the old school property here, and you can see that big tower there. That's Elk City Water Tower, and the school was built right in front of that, the high school, that is. Well, it looks like I was wrong. It was burned down in 2011. I stand corrected. This is the elementary school. It looks like it's in pretty good shape, but it has been sold to a private individual, and I don't know what they do for it there, but it looked like a pretty darn nice school. Even today, it looks good. Here's a picture of the old downtown in the late 40s after the Second World War. You can see all those cars there just packed in. It just goes to show you that Elk City was a thriving community, and probably more population than what they're saying. But back in those days, the accuracy of the population count wasn't exact. So there could have been a lot more people here than what it's reporting. This right here has been going on for years now. Every fourth Sunday of the month is a breakfast in Elk City. And it's a lot of it is bikers, as you can see there. But I've been to it several times, and I try to go at least once a year. But it's a great, great breakfast. The Elk City had a flood, three of them, during its lifetime. This is a dike they put in. I can't remember what year that was, but it controlled most of the floods. I think the last one was in 1961. Yeah, 1961. And the Verdigris River just ahead here was responsible for that. It just overflowed the banks and it got into Elk City. 1961. And that's interesting. The Antlers Cafe was, can't name Star Cafe, I believe then. Well, that town was completely flooded, just overwhelmingly. I want to thank all of you for listening to me and for watching our videos. We're a young channel, but we're getting there. With your help, we're bringing more and more great videos soon. Thanks again. See you soon. Adios.